Today presents Strike Battleship Argent, Book 1 in the Starships at War series by Shane Lachlan Black. Copyright 2016.
Hey, science fiction and fantasy fans, Shane Lachlan Black here, reminding you that all of my serialized fiction and all of my serialized audiobooks are available on my site, brought to you ad-free by the Action Faction. We're also supporting literacy. Every time we hit a milestone, we send another book to a school. Plus, you can get your own call sign and get producer credit in videos just like this one when you sponsor us. All ahead, battle speed.
A chorus of ayes responded, one for each of the Spruant skipper's commands. Lieutenant Commander Francis Teller swiveled back to examine the main view screen. An atmosphere-fueled fire was burning on Fury's dorsal section just aft of the bridge. Teller's jaw tightened. He knew what that damage meant. CIC, I want an origin point and a firing solution for that weapon in 10 seconds. The Perseus task force went from station keeping to a perfectly choreographed swirl of motion all at once. 3 destroyers and 3 frigates moved to screen their flagship from further weapons fire, while the 2 heavier cruisers pounded away with their active scanners, combing nearby space for the source of the weapons fire. New contact, 88 Mark V, on a collision course with the Rhode Island. The tactical officer on the Spruance bridge jumped to his feet. This doesn't make any sense. Where the hell are they coming from? This time, the command data net gave 7 vessels a track on the suicide attacker all at once. The Exeter, Constellation, and Jefferson opened up first, firing hypervelocity point defense missiles from their efficient and deadly rotary mounts at the inbound target. Then the Rhode Island's energy batteries joined in. In a matter of seconds, 80 missiles were in space and screaming towards the attacking starship. Jamming signals managed to confound some of their weapons locks but did nothing to protect the attacker from DSS Revenge. The Fury's escort cruiser calmly pivoted all 4 of her heavy weapons mounts to bear on the diving enemy frigate and opened up with a hurricane of proximity blasts. 10 megaton explosions shocked and pounded space for 1,000 cubic miles around the inbound track of the wildly swerving vessel as the point defense missiles began to impact. A savage storm of incredible destructive energy streamed through space and finally faded. There was no wreckage. CIC, talk to me, Teller shouted. I want to know who is shooting at us, and I want to know now. I have an indeterminate series of targets at extreme range, sir, but I can't vouch for any of this data. Nothing on my screen makes any sense. Blast it, Ensign. I don't want to hear about your theories. Give me something to point my guns at. If they can target us, we can damn well target them. That's the problem, sir. We can't lock up any of this. Every time we match bearings, the waveform changes. The tactical officer wore a frantic expression. That's impossible, the pilot shouted. How the hell can a ship change its composition and EM signature? Incoming! The bridge of the Spruance buckled and shuddered as the lights flickered ominously. A thundering explosion rumbled through the huge vessel's interior decks. Overload your forward screens, tactical, Teller shouted. The cruiser's shields glowed with excess energy. Another gigantic blast pounded the vessel's port side, and the bridge crew pulled themselves back upright in their shock harnesses. CIC, report. Sir, I can't give you what I don't have. Then give me a direction and range, anything. Acknowledged, bridge. Our best guess is new contact 05 by 1, range point 1. Collision course. This time, Minstrel and Ajax banked in pursuit of the suicide ship. That's not a frigate this time, the Ajax signals officer warned. The angle is closing too fast. Veer off, Constellation, veer off. The Minstrel angrily launched a full spread of track-on-signature ship-killer missiles. All 16 warheads managed an instant waveform lock on their target, but their overtake time was +5 impact. Too late to save their fleetmate. Kill that ship now, Teller shouted, jumping to his feet. A full-size war destroyer hurtled towards the evading Constellation. Explosions bracketed her hull and debris started to trail, but destroying a ship this size was going to take time, and the range was closing too fast. Constellation, evasive, Teller screamed. Out of nowhere, a full-power warshot speared the oncoming suicide destroyer amidships. A blinding explosion shook the very fabric of space as 2 more shots blasted 100-foot breach points in the spinning vessel's disintegrating hull. DSS Fury's other 2 main batteries swiveled silently and opened fire. Shot 4 blasted the destroyer's engines into a cloud of spinning debris, fire, and trailing radiation. Shot 5 missed. Shot 6 detonated across her ventral hull, igniting a screaming, shrapnel-ejecting hypernova before the 7th shot impaled her fusion assembly. An impossibly bright explosion flared to life briefly and then vanished, leaving a ghostly after-image, a long trail of radioactive fuel and an expanding wake of fast-moving debris. The scene on every Perseus bridge was the same. It wasn't often they got to see their flagship unload. When she did, it was a sobering event. Spruance, report. Come in, Spruance. Teller finally looked down from the scene of utter destruction on his bridge view screen and activated the intership. Good to hear a friendly voice, Fury. We have multiple targets on the board. Firing solutions are imminent. What is your status? We're hurt, but we're still in the fight. Transfer force command to 1 Juliet 4 and prepare to re-establish an attack posture. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Fury has the ball. Spruance shifting to force escort on 0 Juliet 4. Vessel at your command, ma'am. They're gone, sir. Teller turned back to his screen. The tactical officer was right. All their previous tracks were gone. There was nothing in space except the 9 ships of the task force. What the hell am I looking at, Ensign? I don't know, sir. 1 second they were there. The next they were gone. Chapter 35. Are you certain, Argent? Affirmative, Captain. They've been actively targeted for the last 2 minutes, 40 seconds. And no response at all? Negative, no change in aspect, no emissions. That ship is dead in space, Honora replied. Confirmed and rechecked, Captain. Shall we run a life signs check? Hunter sat at the pilot's controls aboard his gunship. T-Hawk 8 was parked 300 yards off the Dunkirk starboard quarter. At the navigator and tactical stations sat Zoni and Yili. Behind them stood 11 armored Marines. They were ready to commandeer the renegade Skywatch vessel and return it to fleet control. Go, Argent, let's find out what we're dealing with here. Scanning. There's no running lights either, Skipper, Moo said. I don't think anyone's home. This fits in nicely with Atwell's story, Hunter muttered. I got the distinct impression Hughes marooned the crew somewhere. Perhaps they're on Barker's asteroid manning that ground station. Or maybe they're on Barker's asteroid as prisoners, Yili offered. With all due respect to the Admiral, it sounds like the man has gone right around the bend. T-Hawk 8, Argent. Go ahead, XO. No life signs aboard the Dunkirk. Goodness, Zoni whispered. What did he do, kill the crew? Hunter blurted out. Moo winced. There are 170 men and women on that ship. Not anymore, Skipper, Honora replied. No life signs, no bodies, no nothing. That ship is completely abandoned. Does it have an atmosphere? Is life support functional? We've got signs that reserve power systems are operating at a greatly reduced power level. Mains are offline. No reactor signatures or heat signatures in her plants. No engine trail either. Sir? Hold on, XO. Hunter muted the intership. What she just said doesn't make any sense. If all that is true, how did the Dunkirk get here? That, engineer, is a very good question, Hunter replied as he opened the channel to the Argent again. XO, keep us on scanners. We're going to board her as planned. Hunter out. The captain closed the channel and set the ship on auto approach. All right, let's suit up. Make sure we've got hatch clamps and everyone's weapons are charged and ready. Neek, take us to 5 meters. Engines at station keeping. Channels open. Affirmative, T-Hawk 8 on approach. The small company turned their equipment over and over, snapping, opening and closing the control mechanisms, checking and rechecking the indicator readouts. Hunter, Zoni, and Yeely all donned their own power armor and pressurized their tack suits. "Engage SSS. There may not be an atmosphere over there," Hunter said. "Affirmative. Watch your pressure and temperature differentials and don't touch any surfaces without your anti-static and heat fields up. Any exposed metal over there could be 200 below zero. We don't want your gloves or precision surfaces to freeze and get stuck," Mu added. The Marines all nodded while Zoni worked through their comms checks. "T-Hawk 8 to Argent, boarding party in space." Meanwhile, on the bridge of the Argent, everyone's attention was riveted on the real-time video feeds from the boarding party's helmet-mounted cameras. It wasn't often a commanding officer led a spacewalk, and many of the younger crew members were in a combined state of utter shock and complete disbelief as they saw Jason Hunter float out the airlock of the gunship and maneuver his tack suit in the direction of the Dunkirk's much larger external hatch. Then the impossible happened. "What did I just see?" Honora said with an urgent tone in her voice. The rest of the bridge crew went back to their instruments, trying for all the world to decipher the data that would explain how the Dunkirk faded away and then reappeared. "Report!" "Ma'am, these readings don't make any sense. 1 second she's there, the next she's gone." "Argent to boarding party." Nothing happened. Commander Doverly whirled on her comms officer with a look that demanded answers. "Channel is open, ma'am, and you are 5 by 5. "Doverly to Hunter, acknowledge." The Dunkirk faded and then reappeared again. "This is impossible. Mass can't just vanish like this," the tactical officer exclaimed. "It's like that ship is changing its atomic structure moment by moment." "Are we in contact with the boarding party or not?" "We're transmitting. They must be hearing us." The young ensign switched her console over to a diagnostic cycle. Every indicator showed green. "No fault in the equipment, ma'am. We're broadcasting in the clear on all frequencies." "Jason!" Meanwhile, Captain Hunter was confidently listening to Commander Doverly's calm advice on how to open the Dunkirk's external airlock. One by one, 4 Argent officers and 10 Marines boarded the abandoned cruiser. 10 seconds later, the Dunkirk vanished from the Argent's instruments. This time, she didn't reappear. Chapter 36. Jace Hunter heard a commotion outside the records lab. Weapons fire preceded the sounds of small engines and shouting. Then a banging sound. She checked her weapon and leaned far enough into the mangled doorway to see what was going on. The intruders appeared to be engaged with an enemy behind them. Flashes of more weapons fire strobed in the hallway. A few seconds later, Echo came barreling up the corridor, emergency lights in full operation and sirens blaring. Butterfly was escorting her from a few feet overhead.
The rest of the story is only one keyword away. Visit jumpline.click in your browser. New keywords are activated every day. Get access to our entire catalog of science fiction, fantasy, and gamelit.